Culture Club is brought to you by Tropical Ice.
Hafade Kwahosi Nichole Quintanilla. I am 27 years old. I am a weaver and a teacher. I started weaving when I was in college. I majored in CHamoru studies at UOG, and I met a friend there named James Bamba, and he was a weaver, and they announced that there were weaving classes or weaving activities going on at Sagenkotoren tomorrow in Tumon. And so I went to one of the workshops that they had, and I just fell in love with it, and I thought it was so amazing and so beautiful. And so I had asked James if I could be his apprentice, and he said yes, and that's where it all started. So I started off small. I started off just learning how to make simple things like bracelets and rings, fans, the gueja and everything. And then, gradually over time, my weaving instructor, James, had, showed me how to make guaguats and kotuts and, very functional things. I think my favorite thing that I've made is the ancient CHamoru hat. So this is an example of it. This was made by one of my best friends, Ariel Lowe. I thought it was so cool to be able to make something that our people used to make hundreds of years ago, and go through the same process of doing the leaves and measuring it out and doing all the math, and then producing something so beautiful from just a couple strips of leaves. Depending on what you weave with, there's different materials that you can weave with, whether it's coconut leaves or pandanus. I prefer to weave with pandanus. Pandanus is so durable. Ukgek, right, in CHamoru, it's a longer process and it's a more painful process, but I think it's more worth it in the end. You have to process these leaves. These are processed leaves here, but they have thorns all over them. They have three sets of thorns all over it, and you have to strip the thorns off with the CE, and you have to smooth out your leaves and process them, and that in itself is a labor of love. You have to be patient with yourself and patient with the leaves. Another quality that's important is to not take yourself too seriously. I think if you're too focused and you're too I gotta get it done and I gotta do it exactly perfect and I have to do it exactly this way, then it's not gonna come out correct. It's not gonna come out right. And you have to love it. You have to love the process from the very beginning, and you have to love what you're making and love why you're making it. I think it's so important to preserve the culture. I'm a teacher. As a teacher, I teach Guam history, and that's my most important thing, is that if you don't understand the past, you're not going to know where you're from. You're not going to know who you are and who your people are and how amazing our culture and our people are and our history is. And so that's the biggest thing for me is I teach Guam history because I feel like it's important for our people to know where we come from and who we are and what we did and how we can continue to do it. We've been weaving for hundreds of years, and I see us weaving for hundreds more years. No matter how advanced technology gets, I feel like weaving will always have a place in our culture and on our island. I think a lot of the younger generation is committed to preserving the culture and learning as much as they can. You see it a lot with the Harao Academy and with Nihi Kids and all of these other organizations where weaving and all of our cultural practices are now accessible to these kids. I love that now it is way more accessible, and I feel like the kids of this generation and the next are making the effort and really trying to preserve and continue our culture and our language, and I think that's a beautiful thing. My name is Nichole Quintanilla, and I am proud to be part of KUAM's Culture Club.
Culture Club is brought to you by Tropical Ice.